Man, there's a lot to talk about, and what a treat to be here. It's so good to see you, Mike, man. You've always been
brother.
So good to me. My Mike Tyson stories are so fucking good.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Now I'll go back to when my book came out. This was before we did the Charlie Sheen roast together. Now I saw Mike at the Charlie Sheen roast, and I came up to him and I said, "Hey, Mike, I put out this book." And I told the story about us doing all the cocaine in the bathroom in the book, and the lawyer said it was fine, you know, but I kind of felt weird about it because I didn't check with you. And I'll never forget, Mike looks at me and says, "It happened, you tell it."
Yan monkey.
Just know what this about.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Thank you, bro.
Come on, man, I'm having an awesome day here.
That's so awesome, Mike. Dude, we got the fucking legend in the house, man.
Hey, shout out to the NHL and the MLB. Because the NHL and the MLB don't test.
That's right.
They
really?
Oh, hell no. I smoke with a lot of baseball players and hockey guys.
Nice, dude.
During the season, after the season. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
you know,
it's beautiful.
I've been to a hockey game before, right? So I'm in a hockey game.
Hockey is the shit.
So they bring me down. This is the only time I've been to a hockey game. I'm in Phoenix. I go downstairs, and this is a charity game. So I go downstairs, and I go in the lobby to meet the guy. And so I'm in the lobby. The guys are butt naked. Everybody's naked, right? So no, that's not the interesting part.
I know, but I'm laughing because I know.
But the woman that's a reporter is right in the center of them all, and they're all around her. And she's talking to him. And they're talking to her, they're drinking, pouring champagne. Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, insane.
Crazy. That's my first time I've ever been around a hockey player.
The locker room.
There's a bunch of savages, girl.
Yeah,
they is.
Holy shit.
Hockey
they is.
players for sure, man.
Because you know they get to fight, Mike, and the referee just leave them alone.
I know.
Yeah.
Checking each other.
Get a brawl, until somebody fall out.
Yeah, that's interesting, about the cultures of sports.
Right.
Because football players are savages, but they've been so beaten down that you don't have the luxury of being an individual. That's why I always loved Randy Moss, man.
Yeah, because he
was him.
Yeah, at all times.
At all times. And I always loved that about Randy. And,
Well, he was raised off that Snoop Dogg music, so.
Oh, hell yeah, bro.
Attribute that to that.
Of course, man.
That mentality.
Of course. And you are the godfather, one of the godfathers
were
of that.
invented from a war.
Yeah.
For real?
From a war. Like soccer was invented
I see
from
that
China.
later, Snoop.
Because when Ming Dynasty, when they fight, they cut the head off of it, and they play soccer, kicking it around.
Are you serious?
Yes,
That's how soccer was invented.
I don't fucking believe you, Mike. You high as fuck. That Toad over here doing shit. I'm not finna Google that shit. Fuck all that.
Look it up, man.
That's the Toad, man. Fuck all that. Nigga talking about they cut a nigga head off, and it soccer started being. So how they create basketball? Some motherfucker was walking down the alley. It was like, man, fuck all that. Cut his head off.
Mr.
Naismith said, cut his head off. Then let's start shooting this
Check it
motherfucker.
out. No, that's the 10,000 Greek. Check this out. This is beautiful.
Hey, this is what getting high is all about. Doing research, right?
I love these Snoop.
Give me some research, Mike. Get my game right. Brazilian soccer fan decapitate ref after he stabbed and
Hey, come on,
kills
let's
player.
go back to the Chinese stuff, man. God damn.
They wasn't playing in Brazil, man. They was not
Holy
playing.
shit. I'm going to say, how was soccer invented?
Yes.
Both you guys, what drugs were you using at those times in your lives?
Cocaine, marijuana, a lot of alcohol, too.
A lot of alcohol?
Man, the time, I mean, I'm sure everyone's heard this story, but in 2005, this is the first time I met Mike. We were at some kind of nightclub. And I was just so stoked. I was like, fucking Mike Tyson, no way, it's so rad. And everyone was going from the nightclub to this house party. And so, I found out where it was, and I was like, I wasn't invited, but I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna show up. And I was by myself, and I just like, whatever, I took a taxi to show up at this random house, and I'm not invited, and I'm like, I want to party here, And so I like ring the doorbell or whatever, I bang on the door, and the door opens up, and it's fucking Mike himself who opened up the door, right?
That's such a movie, dude.
Mike opens up the door, and I'm like, no way, I don't know anybody here, you know, I don't even know Mike, but I said, hey man, is it cool if I come in? And Mike, like, it was like he threw a punch, like it was like he threw a punch like past me, you know, like over my shoulder, and like threw it like next to me, past me, and hooked it, and then pulled
you by the shoulder.
Yeah, well, no, by the like clocked me in the back of my head, not knocking me into the house. He's like, get in here, you know.
I love it.
Yeah,
dude.
it was like this ghost punch, and he hooked it around and pulled me in the house, and we're in the house like not even a second, and he says, you got any coke? And I said, fuck yeah, I do. I said, fuck yeah, I do. Not only do I have coke, I have a bunch. And I was not kidding, man.
Shit.
I had like both pockets, right? I'd like, for anyone, you know, an 8-ball is like a fairly substantial amount of
Yeah, it's
cocaine.
a lot.
You know, that's 3.5 grams. In my left pocket, I recall having an 8-ball that had not even been touched, and in my right pocket, I had like an 8-ball that had been like halfway through. So at the end of the day, it was roughly, I don't think I'm exaggerating a lot. I think I had about 5 grams of cocaine. All right, and so I'm like, yeah, I got a bunch. So Mike and I, we go in this bathroom in the house, right? We just fucking lock ourselves in this bathroom, and we were in there for like easy.
Whose
3
house
hours.
was it?
Friend of mine.
Oh.
Yeah, we were in there for like fucking 3 hours, just
Talking
on and on. I'll never forget when and here's the craziest thing is that, like, I was a cigarette smoker at the time. I smoked Newports. Mike asked me for a cigarette in this bathroom, like right when we first go in there. Oh, let me get a cigarette, right? I couldn't believe this. He takes the cigarette in his like a Newport cigarette. He rolls it between his fingers. You got to explain this to me, Mike, because I still don't understand it. He rolls it in his fingers back and forth so that the tobacco falls out on the bathroom counter. Right, like, and he keeps doing it, rolls it back and forth. So he gets done with it. Now, like, there's the brown filter on the end, and the cigarette paper is empty. It's just like a cylinder, like an empty tube of cigarette paper. So then he turns it right side up. We've got a whole pile of powder cocaine on the bathroom counter, and crush it all up, real fine powder. And Mike's like scooping it in with like a driver's license or credit card. I don't know. He's just scooping it in and pouring the powder into the tube, the cylinder of cigarette paper, right? No tobacco mixed in. It's just, he's just dumping in just pure cocaine, nothing but cocaine to fill this cigarette. And I'm looking at it, I'm so fascinated. I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, that just can't work. I mean, like, just like logistically, like, that can't fucking work that way. You know, like, the cocaine, the cigarette paper has to burn way faster than the cocaine, right? Like, you can't just have solid cocaine with like cigarette paper wrapped around it and expect it to smoke. And I'm watching him do this, and I'm just thinking, like, this is the most fascinating, like, fucking drug addict science fair experiment. you know? And
that's what it was.
And sure enough, he got it to work. I mean, did you pull the filter out?
Yeah, pull the filter out.
Pull the filter out, and he's just like cradling it, and like he smoked it. Now I was like a little bit weirded out by the idea of smoking coke, so I was just snorting it. Mike finishes his cigarette contraption, and then like he gets done with it, and he makes another. And I'm so fascinated, right? I just keep giving him. I don't care. I just let Mike have it. I'm like, dude, I was so fascinated. The experience was so incredible, and like, mind you, smoking all this cocaine, we're locked in like a small bathroom. Like, it is so dense, the smoke in the air. Like, no crack house could possibly be that fucked up of like air quality as far as just being in a cloud of fucking cocaine smoke. And we're having this great conversation, and Mike's smoking this coke smoke after coke smoke, and like, for probably like 3 hours, and then
Holy
all of it was
shit.
gone. We went through All of it. All of it. And then at the...
You're some junkies, man.
And then when we were done with like 5 fucking grams of cocaine, like 3 hours later, like, and now because there's no more cocaine, it's time for Steve-O to go.
All right, Steve-O, we'll see you later, man. Thanks for coming.
And so, I did this toad the other day, yesterday, matter of fact. And, you know, explain what the toad is to some people that don't understand what the toad is.
Yeah, because it sounds like you told on somebody. I'm like, I hope you ain't told on nobody, Mike.
Not intentionally.
Toad or toad? Which one is it?
The truth shall be told.
Explain it then.
The toad, it's a mystical creature from the Sonoran Desert. It hibernates for 10 months of the year, and it comes out during the monsoons, and they get this toad and they milk it, for lack of a better term, of its venom. And its venom contains this molecule called 5-MeO-DMT. And so when you take 5-MeO-DMT, you vaporize it. It basically takes you through your life and shows you your traumas and releases you from it, and you have to surrender. And it releases you from your pain. So that's a little bit about what the toad is.
That shit sound crazy as
No,
fuck.
but yeah,
Nigga, I ain't never smoking that shit.
No, but dig, right? On another note.
Only way I'm smoking that shit if they like, dog, you know you gonna die in about 4 hours, cuz. All right, hey, cuz, call Mike up.
Give me the
And it
toad.
might give you life.
Get that toad, cuz. I want to experience it. Hit that motherfucker 4 times in an hour. Like, cuz, that motherfucking
dude.
toad was amazing. Yeah, we inside the Mike Tyson podcast with your boy, Snoop D-O Double G, taking over this motherfucker, leaning, maintaining, banging, and swinging. You understand what I'm saying? Drinking on this water, because we staying real purified today.
With Bishop Magic Wand. He's not here. I feel like I'm in here with Bishop Magic Wand.
You should have called him. You know the church would have showed up, Mike. All you had to do is make
you have
one
to
call.
call him. You have to get him on the set.
You know, some of us knew you got stoned, but none of us talked about it because back then nobody blew each other up.
Nah,
like
nobody
that.
did that.
These days, it's like one of those things where like everybody's trying to scoop everybody out and spill some shit.
Yeah, I
You know
remember
what I'm
back in the 80s and 90s, nobody told anybody.
Nobody did that. Now these new, you know, the social networks that exist, I mean, that's all it's for now. I remember the first time I seen one of those phones that you could take pictures of, or, you know, because there was no video yet. I was in Europe. We were with on a tour with Eminem, 50 Cent, Exhibit, G Unit, and all that. I think it was Anger Management Tour.
I remember that too.
And we were in some city, and I was one of my other bandmates and I were walking through the like market area, and this dude had his phone up, like doing selfie mode, like, you know, doing a selfie. He had it high up, and I could see him looking at us, and like trying to position himself. And I saw that, and I thought it was weird, but I saw that he had his phone, and I walked over to him. I'm like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And you know, I was just tripping out on what he was doing because I know he was doing it in our direction. And I wasn't like offended or anything because like I'm cool with fans. Like I don't trip. I'll take pictures with them, sign autographs, all that shit. But I was just like, you know, like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was just taking a picture of you guys. I'm like, taking a picture?
I used to freak out when people did that.
And it was like I hadn't seen a phone that, you know, you could take photos with yet, you know, because those phones weren't in America yet. You know what I'm saying? And I saw that shit, and I was like,
now we can't live without those phones.
Yeah.
I was like, you could take a picture with your phone? And he goes, yeah, look. Bah.
I gotta think. Okay, I either stop or I gotta go big. Like one last fucking go for it. I got one, and I had this idea. I had a list of ideas that aren't like particularly new ideas. I've had them forever, but they were so far. There's just that list of ideas that was just too fucked up to go for.
Yeah.
You know, and so I call it my bucket list.
Christ.
Right. I call it my bucket list.
Steve-O bucket list.
And like, yeah, there's nothing on my bucket list that didn't happen for so long for like no reason. There's like a solid fucking reason why this shit should never happen. And now I'm just going for it because I feel like I've got a limited amount of time. I'll give you an example. of like something on my list to show you how ridiculous it is. Like anytime anybody ever asked me if I've been skydiving before, I always said, fuck that, dude. Everybody does that. Why am I going to do something everybody does? I do shit nobody does. So I said years ago, probably 15 years ago, I said, if I ever go skydiving, my first time, you got to have a dude strapped on your back, like a tandem skydive instructor. Well, I'm going to be fucking butt-ass naked. And I'm gonna be fucking furiously jacking off.
Oh man!
and I will not have blown a load for a long time, man. Like 4 days. You know,
madman.
And then when I'm whacking it, I reach the point of no return right around the first squirt. That's when I leave the plane. So I'm free falling through the fucking sky, cranking out the biggest load you ever saw, and I call the idea skyjacking. Right, and that's like that. Yeah, and dude,
you're really losing it, Steve.
That's really taking it to the next level.
Dude, everything on my list is taken to the next level. And like, I'll be honest, I shouldn't say this, but I'm legitimately concerned that I'm not leaving myself anywhere to go with that shit.